The black cats got Dave N. The white cats, they got Doug. The Google search engine.
So here we go for another exciting Jim and Show.
Jim Boykin, the CEO of Internet Marketing Ninjas.
And the CEO too.
SEO and CEO of Internet Marketing Ninjas.
And Smarty, the community manager of Internet Marketing Ninjas.
The topic for today is reputation management problems, specifically the Ashley Madison reputation problems. And we've talked about the Ashley Madison hack probably a couple of weeks ago. And what happened is that a very well-known cheating website got hacked and the whole database of its users have become public. So that has caused lots of scandals and rumors.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that you're either an SEO watching the Jim and Ann Show, or you're in the Ashley Madison database, and you're like, what do I do now? And so today would like to focus, I guess, on the SEO aspect of it, especially the reputation and possible future reputation problem in Google. Meaning, if someone searches for your name in Google, is there going to be something in the top 10 or 20 results which is going to be like, this person was on the Ashley Madison website? So we realize that there's several databases across the world, and getting removed from those databases is going to be impossible. But I think the fear is one day you're applying for a job, or you're dating some girl or something, and that person who runs a search at Google and comes across a new web page, which maybe lists, here's all the people with a last name that starts with B-O-Z, and here's all the B-O-Z names, and suddenly you're on that list, or there's a page specifically for every single person within the database, and if that ranks for your name, because there's an incredibly high chance that, just like the AOL data, which was released years ago, that all of this data, someone's going to release it in HTML format across the web. And all of your profiles that were behind a username and password at Ashley Madison are now going to be there for the public to see. If you think that that won't happen, your chances are you're wrong. Like, it's going to happen. If the results in the top 10 or 20 for your name aren't strong pages, there's a good chance that one of these places, which is going to publish all of this stuff across the web, is going to rank for your name. And so that's, I guess, the specific issue that we want to talk about.
And everyone Googles everyone today.
Oh, yeah.
So, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I as the CEO of Internet Marketing Ninjas, I Google people before we hire them. They're Googled at one point in the interview process, and I don't know what I would, as a CEO, would I have any mixed feelings about the trust of someone coming to work for me and what they're telling me during the interview process if I saw that? I don't know, but for some CEOs or hiring people, they may look at that as...
especially in some industries, like in SEO, it's probably irrelevant unless that's some public position that would represent the company that could reflect on the whole company. But there are other things that you probably could be doing, and there are other industries that will be heavily affected, like the schools, teachers, and stuff like that.
Let's say if you're because there was a lot of edu emails and gov emails and .mil emails, and all of those can instantly be attributed to a real person. And the average Joe out, I guess there's different things. There could be, hey, here's someone who's the head of a big company, and if this gets out or spreads around or ranks in the top 20 for his name, there's going to be financial issues with this, and that needs to be taken care of ideally before it happens, because there's an incredible chance that's going to happen. And then there's like the average Joe, the average teacher that's not a big company, that just says, I would really hate for something like this to show up in a result for my name, because it could very well affect you in life. Your future partner is probably at one point going to Google you. And so what you need to do is you need to take proactive action on that today. before they pop up, because they will pop up. And if your results in the top 20 for your name aren't strong results, these other pages are going to show up. So let's talk about a few ways to how do you make your, if you search for your name in Google, look over, say, the top 20. And some may be you as a person, some may be other people with your same name. There's going to be a variety of results in there, but what you kind of want to do is flood the results with even more positive things. So, Anne, can you start talking about what are some of the pages you could add to your profile? So
yes, absolutely. So first of all, for social media profiles, whether you are going to be active there or not, and having your name there, registering your name there is a good idea. And it's always been a good idea. Like the first thing I do whenever any social media network shows up, a new one, I'll go there and make sure that my brand name is mine. I'm registering it. I'm probably not going to have time to be active there, but I register an account and I make it complete, like with everything. Description, photo, link to my website, other social media profiles that I have, especially the major ones that I'm active. So register and complete your profile, like go through all the steps.
And with completing the profile, you would want it unique every single time,
yes,
correct?
You want to be unique.
So part of what you'd want to do is like start making a list of social media places where you can join and get a profile. One of them is knowem.com, knowem.com. There's a list of places, and each one of those places you can set up a profile. And you want to set up a profile and do it unique every single time, because if Google sees that it's the same information from profile to profile to profile, there's a duplicate issue one. They may not count them all. So every single time you fill it out, you're going to want to fill it out unique and different, reword it.
Another good thing about Knowem database is that it caters to people who are for reputation management issues there. So what they do is that all the social media accounts there have your name in the URL, so they allow that custom URL with your name, which ranks much better than you have just ID and some numbers in the URL.
So
and also the public profiles, which is very important. Many social media networks have those accounts that are hidden from the public under, like, you need to log in to see the user account. Like, that's what Elo does. And even Facebook, like, Facebook is very tough because it doesn't show much information to a person who's not registered. So what I would do with Facebook is register the page, not in addition to your personal profile, because pages have more content for search engine to crawl than personal profiles. So all those little things.
So like if you have a choice of a name, like let's say you go to, I don't know, Flickr.com, and like, all right, set up a name, and your name is often, it'll be like Flickr.com / whatever name you choose, and the name you choose, ideally make it your real name, not Jimmy likes cats or something. Like you're trying to rank for your name, use your name in there as the username. If your name is taken, if they say like Jimmy Smith is taken, try Jimmy Smith 1, or even better Jimmy Smith -1 or something. But try and get your name as that name. And if you can't, if your name somehow is registered in all of them, then it's Jimmy loves cats is better than nothing. So.
Yes, but I mean, again, if you have a choice, the exact match is better. So if you have a choice, it's better to use a number than to, for example, use your middle name, because no one will search it. So it's not as useful as have that exact match name in your URL, even if it's with numbers.
And another big tip when you're creating your profile pages, and they usually say like, write information about yourself, and you get to write some information. And sometimes they'll even say like, is there any websites that you have affiliations with or anything? And one of the important things is all these profile pages that you're setting up across the web, they get more powerful when other places link to them. So let's say you have a Twitter account, for example, and now today you're setting up a Flickr account, and your Flickr account says, do you have any sites you work with, or any sites that are yours, or you would put a link to that Twitter profile page so that your Twitter profile page now has a backlink from another site, and that will help it to rank higher. So part of what you're doing when you're setting up the profiles as well is you're trying to add in links to the other profiles that you're setting up along the way, so that those profile pages have backlinks going to them, which will help them to be more powerful, and ideally they'll rank higher, because really the whole goal is you want to fill up as many of the top results with results that you want to be there. And part of how you do it is, you need to have pages about you on powerful websites, and getting links on social media profile pages is one way to do it. Your Twitter page is very powerful. Your LinkedIn page is very powerful. On a lot of these social places, your About page is very powerful, and you can make them even more powerful by getting other places to link to them. So along the way, try and link to as many of those social media profiles as possible, which makes them more powerful, which has them go up. So ideally, if there's a page in the search results about you that has to do with Ashley Madison, you're like, I'd like that to go away. Part of the value of that page is how many other outside websites link to that exact page that talks about you, and usually the answer is going to be none. There's maybe just some internal links from that own website going to that page, but chances are there's not other websites linking in, and that's one of the biggest ranking factors with Google, are other websites linking to that page. So it's really important when you're making your profiles as well to try and add in as many links as you can to all those other pages about you, so that they have backlinks, and that will make them more powerful and help to raise you up in rankings.
Yes, and then again, don't just create an account. Twitter will rank much better if you have some content not just about you, but also in the actual feed.
Yeah.
And if it gets updated. You may not be really willing to update your Twitter. That can be automated with your favorite blog feed, for example. So having some fresh content go into your social media profile improves its rankings, and Google does understand that. So they might not rank an empty, non-active social media profile.
Good call, because let's say you sign up as some social media site, and you get your profile page and you fill it all out, and part of the value of that profile page is, of course, if other sites link to that profile page, that's a big thing. But part of it as well is, how many pages of the site itself links to that profile page. So if you have an account on Flickr, they're going to be like, well, how many other pages on Flickr link to your profile page? And often, the pages that link to your profile pages are the pages where you participate. Like Jim said something, or Jim published a picture, or Jim did this, and every time that it says Jim, it links to my profile page. And so, very good point. You need to participate in these places too. And so part of your getting ready for bad results to come into the top 20, you're going to set up an account on a whole bunch of social media profile places, and set up your profiles and link to the others, and you're going to participate. You're going to do a little bit of work here to help these pages become more powerful. And I guess these are things that almost anyone can do. You certainly can hire a company to do those. We have no affiliations with Noam, who we mentioned earlier. I want to mention that, but I think that's just more a service of like getting those accounts. And it's a paid service, and it's, I think, probably a little bit better if you set them up yourself, because every single time you can do something unique, and often when you're filling out a form that gets duplicated across different places, it's not going to be as powerful. So I guess it depends on your time, and it will be a little bit better if you individually hand set these up. And pretty much anyone can do that, but let's take it a step further. Let's say that that's not enough, or gee, you're a big company or some newspaper, or you can't afford to have something bad in the top 20, and you've got a budget, and you understand that there's only so much you can do with what I just described, and that's good. But if your problem is bigger than that, or you can't risk having a problem bigger than that, then you're going to need to do more. What are some of the more things? Well, remember how I talked about links being a really valuable thing, and if you have a profile page and other sites link to that profile page, that makes that profile page rank higher. Well, what you would kind of, the next stage gets a little interesting, but the next stage is, for like the reputation services that we offer here at Ninjas, part of what we would do is we would, run a search for your name in Google and look through the top 50 or 100 results and look at what are these sites, what are these pages. I don't care if they're about you in particular. Like, I'm just, what are the top 100 results, and if number 25 is about someone else with your name, I might be like, well, that's gee, someone with your same name has been referenced in an article from the New York Times. And wow, the New York Times is a really powerful website. If I can get other sites to link to that article on the New York Times, it's going to rank higher. And anything that I get to rank higher will push down that bad thing or make it much harder for that bad thing to get into the top results. And so part of it is strengthening everything that has potential to be strengthened. The good stuff about you, the good stuff about anyone with your same name. And now it's like, all right, the way to make those pages more powerful is you need to get other sites to link to them. Now, there's only so much you can do with creating your profiles and interlinking profiles and all that. And, that helps a little, but if you could send in some really powerful links into that New York Times article, or to other pages that are good, the stronger you can make those pages, the harder it is for something to get into there, because if it's not strong, pages about Ashley Madison with your name on them are going to rank. It's pretty much a given. And so you've got to strengthen your as many good stuff about you or people with your name as possible, so that anything that comes up just doesn't reach through a certain level on there. For our services to really beef up your top results, to try and make it as strong as possible so nothing bad can get in, whether it's about like Ashley Madison or anything else, or maybe you already have a problem. You're looking at starting at $5,000 a month for that service, but it's, how do I say, that's top of the line service, doing lots of things to build in lots of links, and it's not just setting up profiles. It's a lot of work and a lot of research and a lot of reaching out to other sites, and it's not a cheap thing, but can you put a price on your reputation? It's not cheap, but it's a lot of work as well. We've been doing this for years and years and years, and there's really not a cheap method. The method that I described at the very beginning is about as good as you can get, and it's not bad, and it's free, and you can do it yourself, and or you can hire companies to do it. But when you reach that level of like you have a problem, or you can't afford to have a problem, and you really need to really strengthen up good stuff, beyond setting up profiles and interlinking them, that's some serious work, and we can help. It's much easier to get it before the problem happens than after the problem happens, because once something shows up like in the top 20, then it's found by other places, and other people start linking to it, and other scrapers are having it, and it's much harder to get rid of once it's there. And again, these pages are going to come up. They're going to be there, and you can either attack it afterwards, which usually costs more and takes more time and is much harder to get rid of, or be proactive and make sure that anything, whether it's Ashley Madison or anything else, doesn't get into that top 20. And it's not cheap, but it's a lot of real work by real experts to get that.
Yeah, one question. Do you also know how to control the Google suggest results for your name? Because that can be an issue too for reputation management.
Yeah, and that's where, like, if someone types in your name or types in like anything, you see the little drop down below the suggestions, and if suddenly your name is followed by Ashley Madison, that's probably only going to happen if something ranks for your name. Otherwise, just being in that database, it isn't going to happen. But if suddenly you're ranking for it and people start searching it, then again, that makes it harder to get out. If nothing ideally ranks in the top 20 or whatever for your name like this, then probably people aren't going to be searching Google for that specifically. So
so it's very important to be proactive with this stuff. Yeah,
and you need to be proactive now. Like reputation, if there's a problem, it's not like any overnight solution. It's a long, slow process. And it's something that if you're in Ashley Madison, you need to be thinking about this now. Do you want to be thinking about it later when, oh shit, there's something at number 3 for my name in Google? Or do you want to like do everything you can to make sure that doesn't happen now? Yeah, because like once it's in there, then other people are going to be talking about it. Then you have a reputation problem beyond that. And
yeah, like I said, Google suggests, which is very hard to manipulate, especially for long. So if that's a snowball reaches that point, it's already harder and harder to solve that.
All right, so follow the advice there. Hire a professional or ninjas. We can
Better
help.
start now doing at least something.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do something. If you don't hire us, that's fine. But if you're in that database, you better start getting profiles going and start getting active and starting to seriously think about, do I need to hire a company? By hiring a company, it's not like you're going to get out of the database, but what it is everyone that has a database and everyone that turns them into HTML pages is in a sense going to be an attack on you and your name. And it's going to happen like all the time. Like, it's not just going to be one site that's going to do this. It's not going to be 2. It's like all the time as all these new sites come up with all these databases. It's like if your top 20 results aren't strong, they're going to start moving into there. So be proactive and.
Yeah, it's the actual database is a gold mine of content. Can you imagine? It can be by. I can imagine they can be by city, like. Whoever lives in this state or city here is everyone who is in the database. Like, people realize that that's something that that people will search. So this content will become more and more public, in more and more places.
Yeah, because people are going to make money off of this database, and in a lot of ways they're going to make money off of the database is by publishing the database in all different forms. It's a ton of free content, and people can put ads all over that and make a crap ton of money, and they don't care that there's names attached to that or that your name is on that. They don't give a hoot. They're making money off of ads now on these pages because if you have 32 million pages and that's just one page per profile, you've got a lot of content, and some of that stuff is going to rank and some of that stuff is going to earn you money, and they don't care. And these kind of sites are going to happen all the time. When AOL released a bunch of data years ago, they decided to remove like everyone's name, and they released all this data, and sites picked that stuff up and repeated it everywhere, and sites still rank in Google for that. And that is for sure going to happen with this Ashley Madison. That database is going to be published in several different forms, and it's going to start ranking for people's names. So
start acting now.
Start now.
Good luck.
Yeah. That's the Jim and Ann Show.
Bye.
Thank you for watching.
Jim Boykin, the CEO of Internet Marketing Ninjas.
And the CEO too.
Who?
You said the SEO of Internet Marketing Ninjas. You said the SEO of Internet Marketing Ninjas.
CEO.
And the CEO.
SEO and CEO of Internet Marketing Ninjas.
And this is Smarty, the community manager at Internet Marketing Ninjas. Let's try again. And so, here is Smarty, the community manager of Internet Marketing Ninjas.
That's me.
That's you. All right. Welcome to another Jim and Ann Show.
You already said that.